So on the right hand side of this belt, I can see it's slightly tapered compared to the left. That looks to me like, can you see that there? So it's square on one side, it's got a taper on the other onto it ever so slightly. So what I'm going to do is get the the pulleys off and check those bearings. Right. This feels a little bit abnormal. A little bit too much place, so it's either the bearings worn out or the shaft's worn out or the bearing goes on. That feels worse. That's really bad, that. So I'm going to get those off. You can see here where it looks like the belts have been hitting at some point. That's really bad down here. Right, let's get them off. Tell that's had some thread lock on it. There we've got one pulley. Always fine if your tension's a little bit sticky, just spin it around and it should come off. Alright. Just look behind these pulleys, look, see all that dust behind there. That's from the belts. Might be from previous belts, but all that stuff there, that's from belts wearing out. Right, so first thing we need to do is remove this inner circuit there, can you see it? There you go. I need my other, in fact I'll just put that there, get the other one out. There we go. Now these, if you should, I have pressed these out before and they're pretty bad. These are okay. I'll have to press those out in my press, but I have before in the past. I've pushed them out of my finger and thumb. Got a good eye. I was just about to say, put your hand over it so that doesn't happen. You don't lose it. Wrong one. Wrong one, Paul. Get with it. You're on video, are you? Right. That one was a right twat to get out. Here, we got it out. So what we need to do now is push these inner bearing races out, and then we'll get the bearings out. Okay, so another important thing when we're doing belts, don't just change your belts and hope for the best, alright? We want to check our cam pulleys as well as the idler and the tensioner pulley. So obviously on the 748, we've removed the idler and the tensioner because those bearings are knackered. This is my 916 engine which I'm stripping. The edge is slightly different on the 916 on this one. The 748 has the ST4 edge, but all the principles are the same. So we're going to rotate. You want to rotate these all around freely. See if there is any resistance there at all. They should rotate nice and free. Check the pulleys as well. Give them a side-to-side movement. Pull them in and out. See if there's any movement there. If you can feel any movement whatsoever in that, the bearing's knackered. Sadly, okay. Again, we're just rotating this. It's not under tension in a minute because that's a tension spot there, from there to top of the centre, okay. But this one here, on my 916, there's resistance just round there. I can feel it. You won't feel it, but I can feel it. It's very lumpy and gritty. Feels like the ball bearing inside there has got something blocking it. It's rolling on something. Could be a bit of dirt, a bit of debris. It could be the bearing. It's knackered. That's what it feels like. That I can feel it there, notchy. The bearing doesn't move up and down or in and out, so I would guess that that's got some debris inside that bearing roller cage. It just feels notchy, there's something stuck in there. So when your cams are at, when this is all at the top of the centre, which this is the position it would be in when you're putting the belts on, and just show you inside here what state the cams are. That's the position of where they are, okay, just like that. Little demo, and as they move around, this cam is now impacting the opening valve, the opener. Opening those valves, exhaust valves, gas is escaping, closed. There's your closer, that's closing it, and there's your opener. Alright, so yep, check everything. Don't just change your belts and think, I'm on to a win, I can go back out and play now. You want to check everything, all those pulleys, make sure it's alright. Okay. Right, so we're going to push these out now in my vise. Please excuse, I know this vise should be attached to the bench, but I've not got round to doing that yet. So a bit of lube in there, slight tap. Shouldn't want much at all. Same with your tensioner pulley. Just make sure it's not going to clash with that. A bit of lube around it, slight tapping. Done. Give these a clean, pop them down here. Right, so I've removed all circlips out of this now. You can't get these wrong, by the way, you shouldn't get them wrong. You've got your tensioner pulley and you've got your idler pulley. Your idler pulley's got two rims around it, and your tensioner's got one. Right folks, so I've got a 24mm socket to go on the back of the bearing. When you're pressing this out, make sure you got the outside, the lip, whatever it's called there, to the bottom, so the bearing comes out this way, okay? It comes out the way the circlet goes. I've got myself this 36mm socket, so the bearing will sit into here. And what I'm going to do, hopefully you've got to press it, or if you've not got to press, then you have to struggle in the vise, I'm afraid. There's a 6-ton press, only a little one. Get that lined up. There we go. Okay, I've got my idler pulley. Again, make sure this is pressed out the correct way. It comes out the way the circlip goes in there, so look for that edge. I'll place that in there. And remember, you will hear a crack once the bearing comes loose, so don't shit your pants. Make sure it's central. If you're pressing it out, if you have the joys of a press. Piece of piss, that one. So there's our knackered bearing, alright. Right, so look at all that crap in there, look, from those belts. All those fibres. It's like wire wool, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to give all these a good old clean up now and get all the oil off the surface as well. We're going to put a little bit of grease inside them. If I want to put the bearings in, we'll press those in, but we'll give them a clean up first. Okay, so you want to get every ounce of rust and dust from these pulleys. Make sure they're spotless inside here. Give them a scrape. You don't want to be putting these back together with crap inside there, otherwise your circlips aren't going to press in properly and your bearings aren't going to press in properly, can make it untrue. Got my new bearings here in the packets. Also, I've run the wire wheel round these threads to get all that old thread lock off. We'll reapply some later, not engulf it with it. I've given these edges a little polish here as well to make sure there's no rust on them. I'm going to put a slight bit of graphite grease in here, just real light smudge of it when I press those bearings in. What we don't want is grease all over these outside, so we'll give it a degrease after, or your belts are going to start screwing and slipping. Okay, right, let's get the bearings in. So, first bearing, just want to get it so it's level. Before I put it in the press, I want to make sure it's level, so I'm going to stick it in here and just simply give it a light push myself. There we go. That's in there nice and flush. So what I'm going to do now is press it in. What I need to do is you want the force from the press to be on the outer edge of the bearing, not the inside. If you press on the inside of it, you can damage the bearing inside it. So you want to be pushing on the outside. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get myself a socket. I haven't got one somewhere to fit it. I believe 26mm. So a 26mm one will push straight in there. So what I'm going to do is get that in there, and then we know it's going to be the socket's not going to press inside it. Okay. So also make sure your circlip is clean. Make sure it's not bent, anything like that. It's nice and flat. Got wrong blade pliers again. What you can do is simply just give it a little bit of a tap with a hammer, make sure that's in there. Right, so just pressing it as much as I can, giving it a turn, make sure it's central. You can check round there, so the circlip rim, make sure that's mostly visible. You want to get this in level. It's not a tight fit, so it shouldn't take much effort. If it takes lots of effort, then there's something wrong. It will make a popping sound once it goes in, or it may make a popping sound. Be careful not to put too much force in it, or you'll damage the bearing. And just check round there that you can see that. Make sure you can see that rim where the circlip goes in. That should be all done. One. And the tensioner note, I put a light smearing of graphite grease just round there, very light smearing of it. Just make sure the way you put this in, the slot there for the circlip goes to the back. Okay, so your bearing is facing upwards where the circlip's going to go. The retainer clip in there, and that's the back of it, which goes towards the engine casing itself. All right, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to lightly seat it in there level. I'm going to put this in the vise and just give it a press with this bit. So I don't really want to go to the hydraulic press with this. It will pop in. So I'm just going to crush that in the vise, make sure it's level, and if I have to go to the hydraulic press, I'll do that. Okay. That's all those completed. Time to get back on the bike. What I'm going to do first is just degrease the surfaces, make sure there's no loose oil on there. You don't want your belt squeaking, like I said. I'll put a little bit of thread lock in here, not on this one though. I'll put a little bit of thread lock in there and we'll pop those back on. Okay. So we're going to torque this up to 18 foot-pounds or 25 newton meters or 26 newton meters. What I've done, got my Allen key stud in there. I've fitted a 10mm spanner and I've got this adapter shaft on there. There is a tool for this, but this works like a treat. That's it. So we've got our new washers and our new retaining nuts for the tensioners. Always fit new ones. This is deadly important. You actually get the new ones with the belt kit as well. And it's important not to thread lock these. Now you will get some play back and forth with this, but this has not got as much as it did before on the old ones, and it just feels like there's some nice even resistance there on the new bearing. Before that was well loose. There is some play there. There's new bearings, we know that. These actually are held on by circlips as well, so that won't help, but that is a lot better than it was. This was rattling its head off, this one. These are actually seized on the tensioners. I'll show you the old bearing. Look at that, that's got hot, that, and the rubber's melted all the way around it, so it feels stiff, does this. I don't know, it just won't move at all. So you won't have seen that looking at your tensioner. It was mounted this way in. I've crushed it there, I've been bashing it out. It was actually mounted that way in, so you won't know unless you get that off and have a good inspection of it. The other one wasn't as bad, but this is what happens. It's obviously seized and become hot and start to melt the rubber gaskets see around it, and that's what's trapping the bearings from rolling even further. So yes, definite caught ourselves a problem there. Giving these another little clean, making sure there's no oil and grease on there. Clean that with brake cleaner, degrease to make sure these surfaces are dry and oil free. Just want to check to make sure your blue roll's relatively clean. I'm going to do it with these pulleys as well. We don't want any contaminants on there. Don't worry about it losing its timing position. Just simply stick it back in its timing position. We'll mark these up as well with some gold paint. Make sure our timing marks are on. Everything will time up.